Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, welcome. My name is Monica, and I am going to be doing the end of year book tag. This is really insane because we are at the point where we have a month and a half left of 2025, which means 2026 is around the corner. We already have to start planning 2026 and doing our end of year content, and it's a lot. So I decided to start this book tag in November, so I have time to talk about things that I want to talk about. And if there's anything else that I want to talk about later on in subsequent videos, I will. Now, I will say this, I have something fun planned for Vlogmas. It's not going to be full on vlogs. I cannot commit to that. I have too much stuff going on with my job, my family, and everything else, but I think I have something that would be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that, and I will tell you about it more probably at the end of November. But let's get into the tag questions. Oh, and Liezl from Liezl Loves Books, she tagged me in this. So I'm going to go and post her video down below and tag her in this so she can see what my answers are. Oh, and I also saw this on Instagram, and so I was like, and they actually had a little more questions, so I added to the questions for the post that I did see on Instagram. And I'm going to make Instagram graphics with the end of year book tag as well. So let's just get into the questions. The first one is, are there any books that you started this year that you need to finish? I have one, and it is The Second Decalogue by V.L. Volvolano, and I hope I said their name correctly. I started this, and I had to do a softie enough because I needed to buy the paperback, which is literally right there, and I'm too lazy to go pause this video and grab it, so I'm just going to put a graphic up. And yeah, no, I need to do the immersive reading where I have the audiobook and the paperback in my hand, so I am planning on doing that around Thanksgiving because I have like 5 days off on Thanksgiving. So it will give me enough time to be able to do the immersive reading that I really want to do with The Second Decalogue. So question 2 is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I mean, there's one that's coming out this week. It's coming out on Tuesday, and it's The Seven Rings by Nora Roberts. It is about a haunted house. It is cozy, and I feel like it might not be autumnal and transitioning into winter, but for me, it is Nora Roberts' November release. She always has a release in May and November, and so I always gravitate towards her November releases as a change of the season because they're usually paranormal in some way, which I think is a lot of fun, and I'm so excited to finally end this trilogy that we've been immersed in for the last 2 years. I need to know what happens at the end of the Lost Brides trilogies. So question 3 is there a new release you're still waiting for? I have 3. So one is actually coming out on Tuesday other than The Seven Rings. It is Brimstone by Callie Hart. I read Quicksilver earlier this year, and I still remember it. I still remember the feelings. I still remember the plot and the characters and everything. I am dying to get my hands on Brimstone. So I'm trying to debate whether to read Seven Rings first or Brimstone first, because both of them, man, I have been waiting for them for a better part of a year. So I need both of those books. But I have 2 more that I'm really looking forward to, and one is Where You Belong by Kristen Proby. This is the last book in her Blackwells of Montana series, which is one of my favorite small town romance series from Kristen Proby. And the last one is a book that's coming out on December 30th. It is Bluebird Gold by Devney Perry. She announced this one about a month or 2 ago, and I've just been like, ooh, a new book from Devney Perry. It is not paranormal, it's not romantic. I think it is a new small town romance. Oh, wait a minute. I'm at 4. Well, if you count Seven Rings, that's actually 5. Oops. But anyway, the one that I'm also really excited for comes out on the same day as Bluebird Gold by Devney Perry. It is Who Will Die by Stasia Stark. This is book 1 in their Empire of Blood series. I saw this and I was curious, and it's about vampires, and I am here for vampires. So I might be reading this one. I might be reading Bluebird Gold on the 30th and Who Will Die on the 31st. I mean, that's my time off, and I want to read those books, so I might be reading both of them before the end of the year. Or I might take Bluebird Gold and make it on Christmas or on New Year's Day. So I don't know. I'm still planning out that part of my reading. but we shall see. Hey guys, so the light's a little different in this part and the wind is blowing harder. It's a different time of my day. I was filming earlier this morning, Lulu kept coming in my room and she is a mouth breather where her panting is so distracting. Anyway, so I accidentally skipped over one question, and the question is what 3 books you want to read before the end of the year. I mean, you could take the 5 books that I already talked about as that, but actually there's 3 more that I really need to read before the end of the year, and they're book club books. The first one is Sanctuary by Nora Roberts. That's for the Nora Roberts read along or book club. Then Velvet Angel by Jude Devereaux. That's for the Historical Hellions pick, and that one is for December. And the other Historical Hellions pick for this month, I haven't read it yet, is The Last Hellion by Loretta Chase. So those are the 3 books that I do need to get to before the end of the year. Well, I want to, but I know I am because they're book club picks. So yeah, let's go back to the next question, which is question 5. So let's go to question 5. What trends have you noticed in your reading this year? Dementia. So I actually literally have listed the books that I have that talked about dementia or Alzheimer's. So Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Capri by Indy Valentine. Tour Season by Bren Weaver. Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. So there's 5 that I had that the parent either had dementia or Alzheimer's. And a lot of them came out around the same time. So it was a lot. Like, I don't know if they were all talking to each other and decided all to go full in on this whole dementia thing. But it was a lot. And honestly, by the point where all of them were coming, even when I read Tour Season, a couple days ago, because I did read it a couple days ago, I was like, enough, okay? It was a lot. So, and honestly, in my personal life, my parents, like, they are getting old and we are dealing with some stuff that is kind of like dementia. So I honestly, while I love those books, I did not need it in my books. I want escapism. I don't want, yes, parents get dementia. Let's just move on to the other thing that I saw is like a huge push in dragons. Well, I mean, that's been for the last couple of years, and a push for Hermione fan fictions that to be published. So they took out all the Harry Potter IP and made it into stories that were supposed to stand on their own. Some did it much better than others. I read 2 of the 3. I just could not read the last one, the Bridget Knightley one. I was just like, no. But yeah, I noticed that, and it's caused a lot of conversation about should we be repackaging fan fiction and selling it. I mean, I know that Allie Hazelwood did it with what was it? The Love Hypothesis. I had to look for a second because that was, I think, Adam Driver's fan fiction, or Raylo. It was Raylo fan fiction. I know there was a Harry Styles fan fiction from Anna Todd. I did not read that one. I couldn't tell you if it was good or not. So it's honestly, I feel like that is an important conversation. But 3 Hermione fanfics that were repackaged and published in the same year, and some of the, I think with 2 of them, it was Rose and Chains and the Bridget Knightley one. They used, these were Hermione fan fiction as their marketing, which honestly backfired. So dementia, repackaging fan fiction, and some people just behaving really, really badly in the bookish space. And honestly, I'm just like, I had to get off Threads. I had to get off a bunch of stuff because I just like, I don't want to hear this. I mean, and it's not just people behaving badly online and being mean to authors, but also people being really criminally bad at book signings. and already book signings are becoming a lot. But when people get really bad and mean and like criminally, it was criminal what they did to that one guy with the AirTag. I'm just like, no ma'am, no. People, I feel like sometimes people are losing touch with reality, and I know how I feel about it, and I don't talk about political stuff, but that's really what colored 2025 for me, was the dementia in the books, the republishing fan fiction, and people behaving badly online and in person and I'm just like, can we all just be adults and get along and not to be mean or criminally or sexually harassing cosplayers, professional cosplayers? And yeah, I'm gonna leave that right there and move on to the next question, because that's it still upsets me, honestly. So let's just move on to question 6, and it is there a book you think could still shock you and become a favorite of the year? Maybe. I still have to read Seven Rings, Brimstone, and I do need to finish the second Death of Locke. They could absolutely be in my top books of 2025. I don't know. I haven't honestly really started looking at my top reads of 2025. And the way I've been reading this year has brought some things to my light. Like, I know that there's some things that I'm going to have to change in 2026 about my reading. So we'll get there. We'll get there on that video. But let's move on to question 7, is how do you feel about your reading goals? Anything you want to change, adjust, or abandon? So my reading goal was 100 books on Goodreads, and I can tell you, at the time of this video, let me go onto Goodreads. At the time of this video, recording this video on November 16th, I have read 434 books. Ma'am, that's a lot of books. I didn't realize that I've read that much until I knew I surpassed my 100 goals a long time ago. But I wasn't paying attention. I was just reading and having a good time. But there were some books that I was not having a good time, and I found some things that I was doing and not doing, and I need to make some adjustments for 2026, and I realized that. So one of the things, though, I found also was I made 7 TBRs, and that was actually a lot for me, specifically the backlist TBR, because one book ended up not becoming available, so I had to switch it out with an audiobook I already had. And unfortunately, I hated that audiobook because of a word that was said at the beginning. It was a word that I've never repeat, and I was like, it shocked me to my core. I went on and I really hated the hero. The hero was just disgusting, and I felt bad, and I'm just like, I thought I was going to pick a good one, and it didn't end up working out that way. So I had to pivot on that one, on those 2 books. And then I just found that as I was getting closer to the end of the year, I just was like, it feels like it's starting to become a chore to finish these. I have 1 book left in my romantasy, and I do want to read it, but it's 34 hours long for an audiobook, which is a ton. That is a lot of time to put into a book. And not just that, I have a couple that I absolutely want to continue to read because I'm still interested in them, but there's one that I'm going to do it because I am the type of person, if I set a goal for myself, I'm going to achieve it. I am very competitive that way. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to back out of it unless there's a good reason. And abandoning my reading just because I'm annoyed is not a good reason for me. So that's a personality trait of mine, and it can be a little off-putting, and even for me it can be off-putting. I'm just like, why am I doing this to myself? So that whole thing is another thing that is going to be some stuff I'm going to be changing in 2026 about my reading and how I'm going to start approaching books and TBRs. That is why there's going to have to be some adjustments made, and again, that's going to come in another video, and I'm talking philosophically. And let's move on to the last question, which is question 8, and is, have you already started making reading plans for next year? Yes, I have. I got a reading journal. I am going to try to do paper reading journal, but I don't think it's going to work. It only has 200 books, and I have 434 books as of today. And I'm about to finish up my 435th book after I edit this video. So there'll be a few more books already read by the time you see this video, because I like to read. But to go back to the question 8, I've already started my planning for 2026. I started around September and October when new releases were starting to be announced, and I was looking at my whole thing with TBRs and how I found that my mood has shifted from some of the books that I had put on my TBR at the beginning of the year versus how I feel now. And of course, all the new releases that are coming out, plus the Nora Roberts books that I'm trying to get through her backlist. And I'm doing a pretty good job. Like, I honestly don't know where I'm at right now. Well, you know what? Since we're right here, let me pull up my reading journal, because I have a whole, and I actually have that I have that link down below for my Nora Roberts. So if you ever want to go on to see how much I've been reading, I have 144 books left of hers to read. I have read 138. That's including the next books that she's announced that is coming out in 2026, because I did already put those on there. So I have 144 books to be reading for Nora Roberts, plus all the books I'm excited for that's coming out in 2026. So yes, to answer the question, I have already started planning. I've already started making my graphics for what's coming out in 2026. I've already started thinking about how I want to shape my reading for next year, what I want to do. And what are my reading goals for next year are, because this is stuff that I need to chew over, think about, really put time and thought into it, and not just be like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then go off half-cocked. I don't do that. So anyway, those are the answers to the questions in the end of your book tag. Let me know your answers down below. Let me know if you are going to be making this video, and if you are, please tag me, because I would love to hear what you have to say. Let me know all the things. And if you made this far in this video and you let me know that you're here, please leave me a calendar emoji, because we are getting towards the end of 2025. And until next time, my friends, happy reading. Bye.